Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. So happy Saturday. Today we have an awesome guest. If you guys don't know, he's KevTech. So we're going to be talking about going from his journey into where he's at today. So if you have any questions, put it in the comments. And if you're seeing this after the live stream, you can also throw some comments in the description or whatever, and we can answer you. So let's not waste any time. Let's bring him in and let's see.
Hey, how you doing? What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good.
Good. So happy Saturday. So how's your weekend? How's everything before we even get started?
Good. Can't complain. I have a hat on because I need a haircut. That's one thing. The second thing is I have this hat on because guys probably wondering where's this hat came from. I went to Barcelona, Spain. I went to Europe like 3 years ago. So that's why I have this hat on. But I can't complain. I'm good. Got my coffee already, got my bacon and egg,
Yeah.
the good stuff. So
awesome. And before, obviously, thank you so much for joining. I went on your channel a few times and I just wanted to bring you on here. So we're going to be talking about how to go from help desk to like cybersecurity, right? And just the journey in that. But before we actually get into that, I wanted to ask you, like, you're a YouTuber, you're a content creator, you're a trainer, you're all this good stuff. What inspired you to do that?
So I was looking for help a long time ago when I was brand new to IT. Like I had zero experience. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I knew nothing about computers. I didn't know what a mouse was, a keyboard, hardware equipment, operating systems. And the problem with that is that you go and like I went out there and got advice, and then you get advice from different people, and then it's just like the advice is so bad. Like you get bad advice. Like, oh yeah, you need a degree to get into IT. You need this cert to get into IT. You must do this. You must do that. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So I spoke with one of my friends that and it's gonna go back to my age because it's actually gonna defy how old I am, I guess. But I was playing Counter-Strike Source, and it's pretty cool. It's a really interesting story. I was playing Counter-Strike Source, and then I had Ventrilo. The application Ventrilo, similar to Discord, you could talk and chat, but there's no video. It's just talking. And one day, this is a long time ago. One day, I was having a beer. I was talking to one of my friends, and he actually works IT. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to get into IT? Go look at CompTIA A+." And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. When they said A+, I thought it meant like a grade, like, oh, I'll give you A+ grade, like you passed A+. And I'm like, that's probably what it is. It's like, no, it's an actual cert. So he told me, oh, there's A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. Go look at that online and go into that afterwards and figure that out. So I looked at A+, and there's a school called Brooklyn Adult Learning Center that I just happened to find online. And, after being in restaurants, I was in a restaurant for a really long time. And then I left my restaurant job and I looked at A+, and I started learning about CompTIA A+, and I got my fundamentals after that. And you're like, Kev, where are you going with this story? Right. What was this like? What's that to do with YouTube? Right. So I went and I started getting advice from people, and people give me bad advice, which is so misleading. Like it's horrible advice. And then when you go to Reddit, I don't even want to talk about Reddit. It's like toxic with certain areas of social media that you go to, and they give you bad information. So I say, you know what, like Donald's, like the Avengers, like he put on the glove. He's like, I just go do it myself. That was my mindset, literally. Like I literally like put on the glove. I'm like, let me just go do it myself and make a YouTube channel and tell people how it is, because people are very misleading online. They tell you like, oh, go get this, sir. Go get that, sir. You must have a degree. You must know math. You're too old to get into IT. Or you get all this dumb information. That makes no sense at all. So I'm like, let me go start a YouTube channel. And that's how I got started on my YouTube channel. Literally, like just making my first video was on Windows and Mac. So
nice, dude. And that's awesome. And I have a similar situation and similar story. Obviously, I probably played the first real video game this week at an expo, racing a car. Like I don't play video games, and I actually did really good. I was actually, I guess because I'm a good driver. I'm not trying to like go, but I drive really well. So like back then, like when I created it during the pandemic, and I was studying with a few friends, and I accidentally spelled Ken, right? KenTech. Everyone was making me jokes, and a friend Kenny and a group of us were doing a PC NSE for Palo Alto. So I was like making the VMs, putting it on Google Drive for the group, saying, hey, like I can make the OVA, here, download this and just, install it. Lo and behold, everyone was like, I'm like, you know what? Instead of these 6 to 7 people that we have in this group, I'll just put this to see if maybe there's 10 people that need to use this video or whatever. So, and then like, I'm like, okay, like I'm bored out of my mind at home because we're during a pandemic. And then I was like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I still, to be quite frank, I'm still not the best with YouTube. I understand a lot of the technical stuff that I know, but getting it all out there to, hack the algorithm and all that, I'm still a small channel. And I was like, okay, like this is cool. And I didn't want to put all of our journey out there. So I was just like putting little bits and pieces of videos, how to create VLANs, how to create routes, and how to create access lists and all this stuff. And so if you want to watch those videos, they're like from 3 years ago. And then setting up like Active Directory, just like you, like, and this is one thing, if you guys want to learn about Exchange, Azure, all that stuff, go to Ken. Look, I'm saying Kevin's channel, and he has some awesome content. And there's actually someone that I work with that, knew your channel, and hopefully he should be on shortly or whatever. I don't know when he's going to come on, but he's like, yeah, man, like I learned so much from Kevin. And I was like, yeah, man, like I watched some of his videos too, just to, see what's up. And and then the journey. And then like, obviously back then I was really into ethical hacking and stuff like that. And I didn't know really what the rules were on YouTube. So like I created like 4 or 5 videos about Wi-Fi hacking, because Wi-Fi hacking was probably, and still, one of my favorites to do like Wi-Fi assessments. And then I was showing like, different kinds of tools and, how to, obviously everything on my own Wi-Fi, but obviously with that skill, you can take this elsewhere and do it, unethically or whatever. So obviously I got like 2 strikes in like 2 weeks. And I was like, whoa, all right, I need to remove these videos. So then that's when I started focusing more on like Linux stuff and Windows stuff and Cisco, VMware. And I actually stayed away from the cyber stuff probably for almost a year. And then that's when I started doing walkthroughs and Try Hack Me. And I'm like, okay, now we have a platform. So now I can say, hey, we're just doing a walkthrough on a learning platform that teaches you how to do pen testing and cyber. So that's, that's what is awesome about this whole YouTube thing. You can connect with people and you get to teach, right? And reach multiple people. So that's cool. That's awesome. So going, back to the YouTube thing, right? So what is your goals on your channel? Like short term, long term, you have a platform that you're creating for training. Tell us a little bit about that. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so my channel is KevTech IT support, and it's always going to be fundamentals. Where people are like, why do you cover fundamentals? Because like when you're brand new to IT, you're usually someone that's brand new to IT. They know nothing about IT. Like literally, they get stuck. If you guys don't know anything about me, I have issues with people that come to me for advice, because when I go and I ask them a simple question, they don't know how to answer it. Like literally, like I want to do the cybersecurity stuff, but then I ask them, okay, tell me about Active Directory, or tell me about what's the difference between a local group and a domain joined computer. And I ask these simple questions and nobody knows how to answer it. And someone that's brand new is trying to get into these advanced jobs, but they don't even know fundamentals. It drives me crazy, because it's like I have to cover fundamentals, and I know it's not the most fun thing in the world. It's kind of boring for some people. Like it's boring and dry. But for me, my channel is primarily focused on people that are brand new to IT, trying to break into IT. It's not cybersecurity. It's not this, it's not that. It's just fundamentals. And I got the blessing from Mike Myers, the guy that wrote the CompTIA A+ book. I got the blessing from him. He wants me to cover like fundamentals, and I may continue to cover fundamentals before I go into more advanced stuff in the future. So that's where I am right now with my channel. That makes sense.
And yeah, and that's cool. And for an example, you guys probably heard me say this name, and hopefully I can have him on my channel, Keith Barker, right? So Keith is from CBT Nuggets, and he's like double CCIE. The guy's a genius, right? And you look at his channel, everything is at CCNA level. You know, he's not going, yeah, maybe he goes probably into some advanced topics in his like CBT Nuggets and his course work, but his channel is mainly for fundamentals and entry level folks getting into networking. So there's nothing wrong with knowing advanced topics and keeping it simple, stupid, right? The KISS method, right? So don't ever feel like, and I did have this conversation with him, with Keith, like, man, like I want to, you know, and he was like, yeah, just teach people how to reset passwords, teach people how to join computers to a domain, you know, just do these basic things. And even if it's a 3 to 5 minute video, like maybe someone's stuck at work, they just need to Google something really quick. Like, man, how do I, you know, if you don't reset a password, like to go to like computer management, right click, reset password, like you'll probably forget if you're not doing this on a daily, you know what I mean? Because there's a million ways to skin a cat, right? You can go to control panel, find local users, reset. You know, you can do PowerShell, you can do it in command prompt. You know, there's multiple ways to do it, right? So it was interesting, and that's what like drove me to do my like Windows Server playlist for 2019. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't stay too basic for so long. You know, like we could talk about Active Directory, group policies. You know, how do we identify a group policy? You know, and how do I say, okay, Kevin is assigned, you know, this group policy, but his map drive is not mapping. Okay, how can we see if this map drive GPO is applied to Kev, right? Okay, GP results, GP update / result, I think. Man, but I don't run these commands every day, right? So sometimes it's a quick Google search. So it's just like, and this is one thing I do love about creating videos, because you relearn. You know, like you're always learning something. Like I'll forget something like when I was doing WDS, Windows Deployment Services. I haven't touched WDS, SCOM, SSCM probably in 10 years. No joke. You know, because I haven't been a sysadmin in so long. So like when I was doing these videos, I'm like, man, I have no idea how to, you know, create a WIM file and an image file and deploy this. Like I had to like learn it before I taught it. And I'm going to, you know, this is behind the scenes, right? This is what I do. Like, I'm not sure if you have that same issue. Like, do you actually, and same thing when I'm doing a hack the box, you know, or more like hack the box or VulnHub, like I'll do the box before I record it. I'm going to be 100, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what was scary when I did my live of Try Hack Me, the Pickle Dickle one, whatever that Ricky Dick one. And I'm like, man, like, hopefully I don't like take forever, because it's scary when you're going live and you never did it. Like I didn't do that box. I'm like, I want to give it a go. But so do you have that as well? Like when you're doing your videos, do you like do like a test run before, or you just go?
No, I do a test run. I always do a test run before I make videos. The reason why I do that is because and I learn because like one thing is I don't want the person struggling that's watching my video. They do something and then they get a different error message based on what I do, and then they get a different results. Like this doesn't work the way that Kevin shows it on the video. It doesn't make any sense. So I try to make the video as realistic as possible. So I try to do it beforehand. So then the person that's following a tutorial video that I make, they don't have the same error messages that I got. So I try to resolve all the error messages, all the weird issues, all the weird bugs before that person watches my video. So then they don't gotta have the headache like I had a headache. Like I spent 3 hours on making this video, and then it's uploaded and it's only like a 30-minute video. I'm like, hey, Kevin only spent like 30 minutes uploading this video, but you got to understand that behind the scenes, I spent like 4 to 5 hours trying to fix this weird issue that for you, it's going to work now because I know what I had to do to go around it and fix it. But for someone that's watching, like they didn't know I spent 3 hours trying to fix this issue. And I spent 3 to 4 hours trying to get this to work for me. So then you don't have that issue as well.
Exactly. And some people like that raw, I remember like John Hammond said, like, do you guys want me to bang my head during a video? Do you want to see like the raw stuff, or do you just want to see it as is, right? So there's pros and cons for both. But I have Cyber Monkey. I want to put his little thing up here. Kudos. This is my boy right here. He's just starting out, right? So what's up? What is the best way to gain more subscribers on YouTube? I'm just starting out. Go ahead. You have more subscribers than me, so you're more successful.
For someone has a YouTube channel, like I always say, like be genuine, keep it 100. Don't be someone you're not. Be someone you are as the person. So just be a genuine person, and keep uploading videos. Be active on social media, on YouTube. The other thing would be for me, this is specific to me, and I think Pat does this as well. If you have a YouTube channel, try to expand it on other avenues of social media like Twitter, Instagram. If you have a LinkedIn account as well, upload your videos from YouTube into LinkedIn. Like use your other social media platforms, so then you get your name out there as well. So that's very important. And the other thing is going to be for me, try to collab with other YouTube channels. Like always try to reach out to other people that have similar content to you, because YouTube, to be honest with you, YouTube is very small. Like, believe it or not, like other YouTube channels know other YouTube channels. This is how it is. Like I know big channels are bigger than me, smaller, mid-size. I have invited other YouTube channels that are smaller than me to come to my channel, because at the end of the day, like it's not a competition. It's a team sport or a team effort. So if you could go and get other YouTube channels to work with you, you both will grow at the same time. It doesn't matter how many subscribers this person has versus this person. If you guys help each other out, you guys will grow. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of that. And everyone comes from a different walk of life, right? And this is the same thing. Like I go to the gym, right? Like I try to train. So, but if you go into the gym and you look at the Hulk next to you, right? Don't think, man, I'm never going to be there. Obviously, you can get there if you want to, get some injections. But if you want to go, it's a joke. But like if you want to go all natural, you may never get there, because that's not how the body and the anatomy is built, right? Like you're just you. Like I can, like, man, why can't I can actually dunk, but like why I'm not 6'8", why I'm not 6'10", like 6'8" like LeBron, or 6'10" like the Undertaker, or whatever. Like, no, this is me, and this is the way God made me, and just be you and just do you. You know what I mean? That's always what I say. Like, I'm not going to compare myself to Kevin. I'm not going to compare myself to Network Chuck or John Hammond or, Heath Adam, like the Cyber Mentor, or all these other folks like that are bigger than me, right? Like, but it doesn't mean that they're better. That's one thing. Like, we're all equal, and that's what, like, it's good to like have collaboration. And sometimes it's harder to collaborate with other folks because, I have reached out to other folks. I'm not going to lie, and I get crickets, and it's like, okay, like no sob story. It's all good. You know what I mean? They have their life, they have their own stuff, and I have my own stuff going on as well, and vice versa, right? Like on Instagram, not like collaborative questions, but like people asking questions and it goes into a request, and I don't see it for 2 weeks because it was in a request, and but they're asking something. This is something that really drives me up the wazoo. Like, don't ask me a question that you can Google and find the answer, right? So especially I get a lot of wannabe hackers and these cybersecurity guys that, that ask me questions. It's like, you're starting off the wrong foot. If you don't understand how to research something, you're never going to be successful, right? I understand reaching out for help. Like if I'm like, man, I probably never have this question, but if I need to configure a DAG, and obviously folks, that's for Exchange server, right? So now I'm like, okay, I know Kevin has videos probably on Exchange. Maybe he has them on hub transports and DAGs and all this stuff. And even saying this shit, it just sounds old, like in my head, like I haven't done this in a minute. So like before I go hit up Kevin, I'll probably watch one of his videos and see if he can answer my question, because, then you sound like a broken record. It's like research first. And that's a big thing of mine is, doing that research before, going to someone. At least that's me.
No, I'm the same way. I I'm a tough teacher. Like, I'm gonna let you know right now, the students that I work with in Job Skill Share, because I work with Job Skill Share a lot. I'm a very, very tough teacher. And he's like, Kev, why are you tough on your students? And it's because I'm hurting you. So I'll be honest with you. I'm hurting you if I give you the answers. So literally, if I give you all the answers for IT, I'm actually hurting you. Why? He's like, Kev, why are you hurting me? Because you're not gonna understand why that's the answer. And
Mhm.
I'm making your life so much easier by me giving you all the answers. Like, the problem with that is if I give you all the answers, you're not gonna understand why that's the answer. So I rather you
Exactly.
do the research, figure it out, and learn it. And then if you tried every damn thing, like you try to search online, you try looking the answer up, you try figuring it out, and you still don't understand how that works or what that is, then I will literally sit with you and be like, okay, let's go over this real quick. Let's go over Active Directory if you don't know what this is. Come on, I got you. But I at least expect you to have a black belt in Google Fool or
Mhm.
strong analytical thinking, like figure out how the answer is, because I'm going based on my experience. Pat, I'm not sure how your experience is, but
Mhm.
and people get mad at me when I say this because it's just a harsh reality of IT. I work jobs in IT where I literally would ask for help and nobody would help me. Like, I went to a job in IT. This is my personal experience. I worked a job and it was either sink or swim, and I had to learn how to do everything on my own. Like, I literally asked my manager for help, he wouldn't help me. I asked my coworkers for help, he wouldn't help me either. So I was like, okay, I have to figure this out on my own. So that was like me trying to, like, it's hard because, like, one is learning how to Google the answer, and then two is what are you going to Google? Like, it's not just you just go online and Google, right? I gotta be specific as possible to find the answer. So with
Yeah.
me, that was the issue with me. Like, I literally, like, it was like Kev, you're screwed. Figure it out. Here you go. You do it. Figure it out. I'm sorry, Kev. Like, we're not gonna help you at all. So that was my personal experience from working IT with a job that I worked at specific in the past, and I didn't get any training until like 6 months later. So that's just
Yeah.
how it
So
is.
I'll answer that and then I'll go to, I'll talk about like certifications and stuff like that. But so I think I got more of what you're saying when I was a sysadmin, network admin. Like in the cyber world, let me knock on wood. I have never, everyone has been super, super helpful and collaborative. But I feel like there's a lot of insecurity in sysadmins and network admins because they think their network is theirs, their system is theirs. If Kevin or the new kid on the block comes in, their job's at risk, or we're not going to give you DA credentials because what if you mess up the domain? Dude, you can mess it up just as equal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it comes from that, like especially the older folks, right? Like a lot of the old school guys. Because I worked at a job that the guy was, I was in my mid 20s, and this guy was probably 50, and he had that old mentality. And I would ask just like, hey, like, same thing. I don't. It's not that I needed help. It was more that I needed access to something to do something. And they're like, oh, you need to be here 90 days. Okay, so I'm just gonna chill and collect the paycheck for 90 days until you give me access because I can't do my job. You know what I mean? You dumb dumb. So this is the reality, and that's what goes in from help desk, because they think okay, you come from a help desk, you don't know you don't know anything. You know about printers, Kev's favorite. You know how to install a printer. You know how to reset it. Right click, reset a password in AD. Whatever, like just the help desk kind of stuff. But now, like you get telling me to touch VMware. Ooh, mean like, or oh, you need to have global admin rights in Office 365 or whatever. So talking about all that stuff, what is your advice or what is your input on certifications? And you mentioned it before, like okay, like
But before I get into it, sorry, I know you're gonna ask me about certification, but before I get into it, I want to tell you a story real quick
go
before we
for
get
it.
into that. So, and a lot of people don't know this, by the way. I only talk about this on Discord because I have a Discord. So, and I never made a video on this, by the way. So you're gonna hear something new that you never heard in your life. So I work for an MSP company, a managed service provider. And basically what that means is you give out technologies to different assets or different companies that you work with. So like hedge funds, nonprofit, profit, or different organizations. You're IT for them. They're paying for your services. You have the servers and everything in their IDF room. And basically, I was a IT support engineer for an MSP company, and telling you the story because it's gonna go back to what we talked about earlier. I literally, they wouldn't promote me. They wouldn't promote me, and they wouldn't make me a manager or anything because my manager was scared that I was gonna take his job away. So that was the issue I had. Literally, like that was the issue I had, and I was the best employee. Like literally, like I was closing 1,200 tickets a month, 1,200 tickets a month. That's how crazy I was in my job. I was so good at my job, and it went so bad. Like it went down south like so bad that, and I never made a video on this. It went so bad that we had a company party. And when we have a company party, we invite the clients that pay us, right? That we work with.
Yeah.
And the clients went to the party, and one of the clients that I work with, specifically me, that I work with, that I'm friends with, he punched the CEO in the face because he got mad because I never got a promotion, I never got a raise or anything. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this job and go somewhere else. So sometimes in life, you gotta like give yourself a raise or give yourself another position, because at the end of the day, not every company respects you as an employee. That's just how it is. It's just the reality of IT. And that's based on my experience. I have other stories. I'm not going to tell them today, but I have so many different stories. It's crazy. So it's just like,
no, and I'll feed off that. You know what I mean? So respect and appreciation is definitely key, right? You need to appreciate your folks that are working for you or working with you. So having that, like talking about MSP for a second, you know, I worked for MSP and all this stuff, consulting firms and a consulting firm. And I think it's awesome for folks to get into a consulting firm because they see all different technologies, all different kinds of ways of configurations, all different environments. So I believe having an MSP job for your first IT job, if you can, that's sick. You know what I mean? Because now once you branch out, for example, if someone has Barracuda or Juniper, Cisco, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, WatchGuard, Udemy, Ubiquity, you know, like there's so many different technologies out there that you can utilize to your advantage because you were exposed to everything. Yeah, you can set up labs at home and you can set up all this stuff and all that good stuff, which if we have time, we'll get into home labs. But I think it's super critical to actually have that exposure, you know. So if you can get a job at an MSP or you know, a local IT company, you know, even interning, even getting that exposure. Like I know someone just was, you know, interning at TCM Security with Heath, and the guy just got a pen testing job for someone. I forgot the guy's name, but I saw it on LinkedIn. So kudos to that, and you know, kudos to Heath for having, you know, given someone that opportunity to be exposed to those engagements and all that stuff. So transitioning to certs, right? There's many people out there that think they, you know, and this goes again back to everyone has their own path in life, right? So my path is a lot different than Kev's. Mine's is a lot different than the next person, right? So what is your take? I'm not going to ask you, you know, what certifications you have because, you know, that doesn't really matter. But folks that, you know, you coach, you train, do you train? No, I can ask 50 million questions. I don't want to say you train for them to get certified, but what is your take on certifications, and do you advise folks to get certs in order to get that first job?
So for me, it's that question is like that question is like hard for me to answer because like it goes back to the job market. It goes back to depends where you live, because my advice changes depending on where you live. Like if you're in the UK, nobody cares about A+, just so you're aware. If you're in the UK, you got to have an apprenticeship and get job experience that way. So it's like it varies from, like if it's in the United States. All right, let's talk about the United States because the UK is something different. But the United States, like if you're brand new and you know nothing about IT, I'm gonna make you go look at A+ stuff. Like I'm not gonna make you get the cert, but I'm gonna make you look at A+ stuff because I want you to be well-rounded. I want you to look at fundamentals. So I was saying you to, I know nobody likes Nobody likes Professor Messer because he's dry and dull when he talks, but I was saying Professor Messer, or I was saying Mike Myers or Jason DeLon. They all have A+ stuff. And look at the A+ stuff. You get fundamentals, you get well-rounded, and then you can start applying for help desk or IT support jobs and all that good stuff. But my advice changes from person to person. It depends. Like if you want to be a network admin, I may ask you to go look at CCNA. If you want to be help desk IT support, you may need an A+, you may not need an A+. It really goes back to the company. It really depends on the company, because you're gonna get like some going to say, yeah, you don't need a cert. Some going to say, okay, we're gonna give you a chance. Some going to say, oh, okay, I like your personality. They just give you a chance and hire you. Or some will say, okay, we're not gonna hire you because you don't have the A+. You're not check marking the ATS system. And you don't have the A+, so I cannot hire you because you don't have it. So for me, like it really depends. Like it's so hard for me to answer that question because I don't want, like, the thing is with me is that it also depends on your financial status as well. Like if you have no money, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, go get in debt and spend this amount of money on A+ or Network Plus or Security Plus. I'm always gonna give you the free stuff. I don't want you paying for anything. That's just how I am. My advice is like that. If you have money, then yeah, maybe you'll get it. Maybe I'll tell you to go get a cert. So it really goes back to financial status, where you live. Where are you at in your life as an IT person? Like, do you actually have experience or do you not know anything about IT? Because I have worked with people that work in restaurant, construction workers. If you know anything about me, Pat, I also train military veterans as well. So some of them get free stuff. Like they get the trifecta. They get A+, Network Plus, Security Plus for free. So it really depends on the person and who you are and where you live and stuff like that. So that question is so hard to answer because like it varies from person to person.
All right, cool deal. Awesome. So Z. How much do we need to know for OSCP? Like how many labs, machines, self-learning? I guess I'll answer that question. So it all depends. It all depends because the OSCP has changed in the last year and a half from my understanding. But if you go to, I forget the guy, JT Knoll. I didn't JT Knoll or something like that. He has like OSCP like machines from like VulnHub, from Hack the Box, and all that stuff. So I believe like going on to this goes back to I don't know when you joined to learn about something. Like if you want to get especially OSCP, right? Learn how to use your Google Full skills, right? So like. That's something I would have been like, like Google, how many labs do I need for OSCP, right? Like what machines are best for OSCP or OSCP-like machines. But for self-learning, if say, for example, you don't have money for Hack the Box, you don't have money for Try Hack Me, just like Kev was saying, like free 99. So you can set up your own lab, Active Directory, have a Kali box, attack your machines, and if you're going for the OSCP for the acronyms behind your name, like kudos. But there's like some, from TCM Security, PNPT, like it's more affordable. There's training that comes with it, right? And it's like what, $30 a month for the full access of his library from TCM. So that's like a no-brainer versus, $1,500-$1,600 for an exam that, it's more from what I remember, it's more CTF like versus an actual real engagement. So I am studying for my PNPT. I really want to get that this year. Last year I was going to do it, but life got in the way. But I've been actually buckling down and scheduling and having my goals a little more in line this year. That was my New Year's resolution. But hopefully that answers you, ZZZZ.
Yeah, I like Keith Adams' training. I like TCM Security. I'm affiliated with them, by the way. You guys don't know. I'm friends with them.
Yeah,
you know me.
Likewise.
I do like what Keith Adams is doing. I appreciate him. He's the one that inspired me to open up KevTech Academy. So I have a company called KevTech Academy, and I will be covering like my own IT support course. I already have one in Udemy. I will make another one, but it's more in depth. And TCM is, so you're aware, Pat, you probably don't know this, but TCM is partnered with me. So like if I make a course, it goes to their platform. I'm partnered
Oh,
with them.
sweet.
Yeah, I'm partnered with TCM. So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's definitely, yeah. Likewise, like, you know, Heath and Zach, you know, like I partnered with them as well. Like, you know, I got a little link. So if, you know, if you guys want to get some training, you guys can use that fancy link and, you know, help a brother out. And likewise for Kev. So let's see. I'm trying to into cybersecurity. All right, cool. So going to that question, we can have Kevin. Do you see his transferring from help desk? He transferred from help desk to a, you know, an InfoSec, cybersecurity, whatever you want, it's a security role. So let's talk about that because that's the main topic for today. And we went off on tangents. But, so what has been the journey? Like, how has it been? I mean, and what is your advice? And, you know, just talk about that journey for a minute.
Yeah, definitely. So what helped me get the job was LinkedIn. So and Pat, you know me, like I'm known for selfies on LinkedIn. I'm known for posting stuff on there. I always post stuff on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So literally 2021, I had 9,000 followers. And then 2022, I jumped to 20,000 followers. Now I have 36,000 followers. That's a lot.
Nice.
If you think about it, that's crazy, right?
That's
And the thing is with that is that I'm active on LinkedIn. So literally I spend, and this is what got me the job, I'll be honest with you. I spent 2022 giving back to the community. How did I do that? I used Calendly, the Calendly app, and I did one-on-one coaching calls with each individual person. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran, not a veteran, a civilian. And I was helping people out one by one on LinkedIn. And people were saying that I was giving back to the community. I was making videos. I was doing tech training, live training on LinkedIn. I'm talking about specifically LinkedIn. And people are sleeping under a rock and don't know that. But I was literally doing free training on LinkedIn for the whole year of 2022, helping back, giving back to the community, putting myself out there, being myself, right? Literally being myself. I'm being Kevin, right? Not KenTech or whoever, but literally being myself. And I literally did that. I did that for the whole year. And I actually joined social events. So like there's a lot of events that are free that people don't take advantage of. That I tell people, go network, go talk to hiring managers, go see who's hiring. Because a lot of these jobs that people look at, they look at the job postings. So like, there are jobs out there that have never been posted yet that you don't know if the hiring manager is hiring for that role. Or you could get a reference, right? Maybe you get a reference for a specific job. You don't know. So this is why I talk about building genuine connections and get to know people. We get to know them as a human being. Go and join social events. Go reach out to people. Go talk to people. Go and have a seat with a hiring manager. Go bring a copy of your resume. So I joined 4 different events, literally 4 different events. One of them is a cybersecurity event. That's one. The other one was Texas. I went to Texas. I actually presented. I was actually a keynote speaker in Texas, if you don't know that, but I was a speaker in Texas. Then I came back to New York. And I was a speaker for Microsoft. So I literally spoke for Microsoft as well. So people now people know who I am. Like, oh, okay, it's not just a regular guy. Okay. And I was telling people my story, how I got into the PowerPoint presentation was from restaurant into IT, because I've been in restaurant for 12 years and then I got into IT, but also I have 4 years in the NYPD. If you guys don't know that, they work for the NYPD as well. So I put myself out there, literally put myself out there. And my manager has been following me for the whole year, literally like the whole year. My IT manager, I'm my security manager. He's been following me the whole year. Like he knows my mindset. He knows how I think. And when I went and applied for that job, I literally, what I did was, and I'll show you because I have it right here. Let me get this real quick. Look at all the cards I have from all the events I went to. It's a lot, right? Or literally what I did was I looked at the company, the cybersecurity company. I'm like, okay, who do I know from that company, right? And I'm like, oh, I know this person. I met him. I had a beer with him. We ate and everything. All right, I'm gonna put him as a reference. I put him as a reference. Boom! Immediately, I got called for a job interview. Immediately after that, just being on social events, being myself, reaching out, getting a reference from a cybersecurity guy. I put him as a reference. Is it cool if I put you as a reference? Nah, Kev, you're a nice guy, man. I like what you're doing. I appreciate you. Yeah, go ahead. Put me as a reference. And I put him as a reference for the cybersecurity company. Boom, I got a call immediately. And Pat, it was crazy because they asked me these crazy interview questions. I didn't know how to answer it. So literally what I did was I just Googled the living hell out of it, right? And this is not like one-on-one interview. This is like just a regular like answer questions on Gmail, right? On your Gmail account.
Yeah.
And I Googled the living hell out of like, well, 5 different ways to attack Active Directory, golden ticket attacks, silver ticket attacks, Kerberos, authentication, all that good stuff. And I sent that message back to the director that was hiring me at the time, and he liked all my answers.
Yeah, you just go to ChatGPT and answers them all.
Yeah, that wasn't available at that time. So then I literally like he got my answers and they interviewed me and I think I told you I messaged you like the first interview went really bad. Like I'm not getting this job. I am not getting this job at all. Like I don't think I'm gonna get this job. And then they called me for a second interview. I'm like, why they call me for a second interview? It doesn't make any sense. I did bad on the first interview. And the director's like, I like your personality. And then the second interview, I did really well on the second interview. And then I got the job after that. So what got me the job was social events and networking and references. That's what got me the job in cybersecurity.
Cool. So and how is that journey going? And what is like, like your day-to-day, like I know you're still new to the company, but like what is something that you really love? And what's something that you're like, man, I need to get a little better at this?
Yeah, so with me is currently I do identity access management. So I deal a lot with decoys and attacks. It's pretty cool, man. Like you're like, oh wow, this is really interesting. So we have fake VMs that we set up as honeypots, so hackers could get into. And once we capture you, you can't really do anything. And then we gather logs based on that. That's one thing that we deal with. We also deal with Active Directory AD Ranger, and basically we deal with hardening Active Directory, hardening your cloud services like Azure AD or AWS, and we deal with hardening your Active Directory account and service accounts because a lot of people don't know this that when you install AD for the first time, and if you go into AD and you go into service accounts, or you go into advanced features, you go and enable advanced features, you can see all the other accounts, and you go into service accounts. There's this account called KR something, KRB, whatever. It's an account. Yeah.
Kerberos ticketing.
Yeah, so that account is a vulnerability. So I deal a lot with that. So that account is what I deal with because we deal a lot with attacks for Active Directory, where there is a was it Mimikatz?
Mimikatz is like a hash dump. So what Kevin's talking about, I'll try to like sum it up. So he's talking about like a ticket granted ticketing service account. So the TGT account. So that's on like if you're in Active Directory, you go to whatever advanced and features, and now you get a whole bunch of things in Active Directory. By default, it doesn't show, right? So now with that, that's a vulnerability in itself because we can, as an attacker, we can leverage that account, especially if it's enabled. And by default, it is, right? Like it's enabled, but it's hidden. So like, bada bing, bada boom. If you're a sysadmin that you don't know that, us as an attacker or as an adversary, we're going to have a field day with you, son. Like it's going to be a good day for us and a no bueno day for you. So that's what he's saying. Now, in order to harden that, you go through these steps and then you can disable that account unless you really need that account. But for the most part, why would you need that? Right. But yeah, go ahead. Go on.
No, that's basically what it is. So it's basically goes back to Kerberos authentication. And basically it's like think of it as you go to the movie theater and they ask you for your ID. So you go to the movie theater, you want to buy a ticket, right? But you need to have your ID, like what's your first name, your last name, right? It's the same thing as signing into a domain controller. Like literally, is like, what's your first name and last name? Are we going to give this person access? Or are we not going to give them access, right? Okay, they can log in. That's fine. So those are the things that I deal with. Also on Windows operating system as well, like 10 and 11. Like people don't know this, and you should know this. Obviously, Pat, you would know this, but a lot of computers have credentials manager enabled, and basically you have your password stuck on the operation or the operating system on the computer itself, on the PC itself. So then that's another vulnerability because then if the user hacks this account or that person, basically they have access to that person's account. And then that's another issue that you may see with what we deal with is that. And then the other issue is the SAM file,
Yeah,
the SAM
SAM
file
database.
on the operating system where we actually are able to hack and grab your credentials and information. So those are things that I do. I deal with a lot with AD attacks and a lot with authentication. So.
And that's cool. So going back to what you were just saying about the SAM database and your local credentials. So we as an attacker will set something up called Responder, right? And now we'll have Kevin when he logs in, and then we'll have his LTLM v2 hash. Now we can take that LTLM v2 hash, take it offline, and we can run it through like John. And there's a lot of hack the box machines to learn how to do this, like Active. They have a group policy preferences that you can take that offline. Like that stopped in 2008. I think R2, if I remember correctly. 2012, I don't think has group policy preferences anymore. But I can be wrong. But from my recollection, I think that's where it stopped. But yeah, so all these fun attacks, and that's why Active Directory, and that's where and again, I want to start making more videos on AD and credential harvesting and using Mimikatz and using secret hash dump. So when we get onto your machine, we can use an application called InPacket. It's a suite of tools, InPacket, and then we can dump you can dump your hash. And once you have your hash dumped, say for example, administrator, level 500. Now I could take that credential, take it offline, and go to town, right? And now, or I can use what's called pass the hash, like you were talking about, pass the ticket, ticket grant, the silver ticket, golden ticket, etc. And that's cool. So how are you liking it so far? Like, what is your take going from where you came from to this world of? It's a new world for you. So how are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. So they gave me access to VMware, and I'm able to remote into I have my own lab, my own little lab with a license set up with the product that we use, because this is a specific product that we use. And our product is not it's not old. It's like literally only like 5 months, 6 months. So it's not even advertised on the job market right now. Only a handful of people have our product. I'll give you a real life example. Chipotle uses our product.
Nice.
I was working with a bank that uses our product. I think Blackstone and BlackRock uses our product as well.
Okay.
Financial firms, but not a lot of people have our product. And I think we had I think McDonald's uses our product as well. I got to double check with that, but yeah. But basically, it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. I used to be in the office every day. I'm not in the office every day. I'm 100% remote. I'm wearing my PJs and just helping people online. And that's it. We jump on Zoom calls. The customer's having this weird error message with authentication, or AD Connect is not properly authenticating with our product. I handle those issues, but I'm very relaxed versus my other jobs, because Pat, if you know nothing about me, I worked in financial firms, and working in hedge funds is very stressful. If you guys don't know anything, it pays really good, but it's gonna be like, it's very, very stressful working in financial firms and working with executives. I worked a lot with IT support as a senior support guy, directly with the CEO and the CFO and the CIO, all the executives, and it's very stressful. Like, it's super duper duper stressful when it comes to that specific job. Like, compared to where I am right now, I'm more relaxed. But you know what I mean? Like, hedge funds it's not easy to work in. So
yeah, I worked for a hedge fund. Like, I did consulting, and a hedge fund was one of our clients. But the best thing about cyber, right? And we're talking about like in PJs, like a lot of it can be done remotely, right? We don't need to be, unless you're doing a physical pen test and you have to go to a client's site and do all that fun stuff. But for the most part, you don't need to be at an office. You know what I mean? You connect to the world of the internet and you're good to go. So we have a few more minutes. We'll wrap up. So we'll leave the last couple of minutes to, questions. Chat GPT, that's where I get all my answers. I've been writing Python code for free 99. I don't have to, because I was going to ask you about what kind of cyber attacks are you trying to defend against, but you went into an overview of a lot of AD stuff. But anyone that's watching, I think there's 10, 11 people that are still on. If you have any questions for Kevin or myself, shoot it over, and we'll be hanging out. So KevTech, InfoSecPat, and Network Chuck is also where. Awesome. Good stuff, Beats. It's a journey. Well
Experience.
said. Yes.
I was gonna say that my experience working in desktop support in financial firms, fintech companies, has made it a lot easier for me to do the cybersecurity job. I'm not gonna lie to you, because because in desktop support you deal a lot with AD, like we deal with AD. We don't deal with security of AD, but we deal a lot with AD. So then having this security job now and what I do now is like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that service account existed. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, you got to change the password every 6 months for that account. Oh, okay. I didn't know that you could manipulate attributor editor and actually hack into it. I didn't know that either. I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. Oh, okay. So, but having the, and I'm going to say it again, having the fundamental knowledge, like the basic knowledge or like the fundamentals of IT, because I know fundamentals, I understand what's going on. Or we have issues like, why is this computer in our system? That computer does not have the same IP address as all the other computers. This is not a real computer. This computer is not genuine. It's not real. They're trying to get into our systems. So I have to get rid of this computer because this has a weird IP address. It's not in the same subnet as all the other ones. So having the fundamentals is like so important. Like I'm going to stress it on this video. And I always stress in other YouTube videos, like if I didn't know fundamentals, I'll be in trouble right now in my job right now. So
yeah, and all jokes aside, Kev and I off topic and offline, he loves printers, right? We make a joke with printers, but even with printers, like a lot of the multifunction printers, MFPs, these use what's called LDAP, port 389. This authenticates to Active Directory, right? So now, if you're a smaller firm with maybe 10 to 20 people, and you're like a one-man shop for IT, for an example, right? You don't care who's a domain admin, who's an enterprise admin, who admins are all day, because now I can do everything, right? I don't have to worry about getting no error message or permissions or NTFS permissions or all that stuff, errors, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was on an engagement where I was able to compromise a printer because I was literally on the engagement. It was about that many people, about 25 users. It was a smaller firm. And it was a week long. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take 2 or 3 days just to, navigate and, like first 8 hours, your Nmap, your vulnerability scans, get like situated, do your recon. And literally like on my Nmap scan, this printer comes up and I'm like, okay. And so everyone's authenticating to the printer. So as an attacker, we can run something called NCAT or NetCat, whatever, NC. So if we have, and one user kept her credentials, like when she would log in, it was saved. So all you do is like you use an application called Beef. So this is a browser exploitation tool. And now we can do what's called hooking. We can hook the browser and all that. But I don't want to get too off topic. So the moral of the story is I was able to compromise those credentials in a matter, I think, of 15, 20 minutes that I was sitting in the office. And with those credentials, I just use what's called, you can use Evil WinRM or CrackMap Exec, these kind of tools to see if we can authenticate to a server. And all you have to do is, if you're on that server, or if you're on an internal network, you can do NS lookup. And usually you'll look up to the local DC, because the local DC is normally your DNS server, right? So then you can just do an ARP-A, and you can say, okay, now I got my IP address for my domain controller. And now what I can do is try to authenticate with these credentials that I was able to compromise to the domain controller. And now I can see sysvol, I can see all like, the whole shebang on your machine. Now I own your server, own your domain. And pretty much the engagement is over. Once you have domain admin rights, the game's over, right? But obviously we can't do that. We're not going to charge $13,000 to hang out for 10 minutes. That won't be cool. $1,000 a minute. Shit, that would be pretty good. But, so, and obviously, then we can look at other low hanging fruits. And then obviously we can I looked at other things and ran our checklist, our stuff that we do. But it was just interesting just because of a beautiful printer, right? So if you're a small company out there, please make sure your security is still locked down. don't take it as, okay, Kev's the IT guy, he's just making sure the servers are up and everyone can work in the morning. Still make sure you have those hardened, because it only takes one little guy to come into your environment and make your life a living hell. So just a food for thought. That's my take.
No, that I agree with you. That's how it is.
Thank
Like
you,
that's how Uber got hacked. Uber got hacked. That's one. Thank you, Jacob. And that and LastPass.
Yeah.
And all these other companies, like, sometimes one little vulnerability, you're screwed. That and the other thing is, like, and I talk about this. I haven't made a post on this, but everyone in your job, everyone in your job works cybersecurity.
Exactly.
And they're like, what do you mean by that, Kev? That doesn't make any sense. Everyone in your job works cybersecurity, because if that person is not well educated, they'll just click on whatever they want. So
exactly.
If you're working with a customer or a client or a user or someone that's in your job, and if they're not well educated, someone that does social engineering could get into that person's computer. So you have to make sure that you educate everyone about cybersecurity. It doesn't matter who it is. Everyone should understand about cybersecurity, how it works. If someone weird is calling, you don't recognize that number, don't pick up the phone, whatever. Report everything. You got to report everything you see, because it's very important. Everyone in your job is cybersecurity. So.
Exactly. And that's why security awareness training is super, super critical, right? I love to dwell on this, and I like to go, head deep in it. In other words, because the human element, I hate to say this, you can have all the bells and whistles, EDR, endpoint protection, KEV's protection, the whole shebang. But all I need to do is talk to Sally from the front desk and just say, hey, Sally, how are you? I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Did you enjoy the beautiful weather in here, South Florida? And yeah, just be super sweet, and they're, oh, like, I am with Comcast, and I heard that your internet's really slow, and we had some issues over the weekend. Are you experiencing any slowness? 99% of the time, they're like, yeah, my computer's always slow. Old A, Sally. Okay, awesome. So what I have to do right now is get your username and password, so maybe I can do a test on my end. And like, when you can open up the command prompt, and now I need to know the domain, right? Because I need to authenticate. And I can just say, okay, run echo space %, log on server %. Now I can spit out the domain controller. And I'll just say, okay, type in set. And then you can get all your, these little commands to run and have Sally from the front desk. And now I just got all her credentials. So the human element, I'm going to say this, is the dumbest. We are dumb. And that's all it takes is one manipulation. That's why social engineering is so successful. And still today, it's still successful, because we're always going to have vulnerable folks, And that's why security awareness training, if you guys get anything out of this or from other stuff, I have security awareness training videos on my channel, how to, prevent from it, how to look for it, creating phishing, you can use GoFish, you can use other professional type services to do your phishing engagements, KnowBe4 and all these other stuff. But you can create your own phishing links and test it, and to see how other folks are actually doing this as an adversary, right? I can use PyFisher, you can use ZFisher, you can use Red Eye, all these Black Eye, whatever all these terms are, GitHub tools, and you can just create it, test it, and see how these adversaries are doing it. Obviously, do it to yourself. Don't send out these links for, I'm not condoning any malicious activity. Please do not do that. I'm not responsible for any of that, but do it to educate yourself, to understand how these attacks really work. That's what, hopefully you guys get this informative information.
Yeah, and then that's to interrupt you, but that's the thing with me. Like, I had this one user, she worked directly for the CEO, and she got an email saying, "Oh, go buy these 5 gift cards in CVS." Mm-hmm. And she went and bought the 5 gift cards, and then she gave the information to that email. She didn't know that person was a hacker, and she got back to her computer and her desk, and her AD account is locked. Her PC is locked. She can't log in or do anything. She's like, what's going on? And I literally got up with a bunch of IT people. We all got to her desk. Like, what's going on over here? Why is there so many people by my desk? And I'm like, yeah, you clicked on something you shouldn't have clicked. I'm going to ask you to leave your desk because I need to get that computer. Someone hacked into that computer.
Yeah,
and I immediately took it off the network. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking this off the network. And just take it from there and figure out what happened. And I had to educate the user. And because sometimes you have people that, unfortunately, if you send them an email for a $25 Starbucks coffee, they'll click on it for some strange reason. But it's just, it happens. So you got to know how to educate people. So.
Awesome. So we're at the top of the hour. I want to say thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jacob, for the, for the super like or whatever that's called. I really appreciate that so much.
That's right.
And so any last words, Kev, for the folks, or, where can they find you? They want to follow you. They want to subscribe to your channel. Obviously, I'll put all the links in the description below. He'll send it all his information. But any last grievances before we part ways?
Yeah. So for me, you guys can find me as KevTech IT support. You can find me as Kevin O'Parnario. My name's right there. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm on Discord as well. For someone that's brand new to IT, and I'm always going to say this, like, if Patty don't know this, maybe you do know this, but literally the first thing I do when you're brand new to IT is I train you on mindset. So mindset is very important when you're brand new to IT, because when you're brand new and you're applying for jobs, you're going to get a lot of no's. When you're applying for jobs, you're going to get a lot of no's, but at the end of the day, you got to have a strong mindset. You got to have the ability not to give up and have the willingness to learn. Those things are very important, because when you're applying for all these jobs, people are going to say, no, you have no experience, no experience, no experience, no experience. But at the end of the day, someone will give you a chance. Someone will open the door for you. So you really got to have a strong mindset. And if you don't have the mindset of rejection and being rejected, if you don't have that strong mindset, that's going to mess you up. You're going to get rejected a lot in life. There's going to be a lot of no's. In life, you will get a lot of no's. You will be tested. That's just how it is in life and in general. So don't give up and continue applying for jobs. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. And Aman, keep your head up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever feel like you're not good enough. Keep learning, keep hacking, keep, doing IT, do help desk, whatever your walk of life is. Just continue doing that and you will get where you want to be. Trust me. We all came so far in life. We're here today. We're alive. So just be blessed for that. So thank you so much, Kev. Much love, kid. Just keep doing you. And for everyone else, thank you and take care, folks.